I grew up with the Brothers Grimm stories, and they were very much part of the European upbringing in general. I grew up in Holland, and so all Brothers Grimm stories made, we were told the story by our parents, and we read the stories ourselves. So when this script first was sent to me, I thought, well, that's clever. I mean, I know that we've been, over the years, they're very en vogue. At the moment, we see a lot of these, classic fairy tale stories told in different kinds of ways, but not quite in this way where we see Hansel and Gretel as grown-ups. And, now sort of taking lives matters into their own hands of hunting down the witches who were responsible for the demise of their parents. And, and then I thought about it, and I thought, at the time, these stories were already really dark, but this time around, I mean, it's really, in the end, even though it was clever to think about it, but it sort of seems very fitting to make it an R-rated film that's dark and not told for children because, ultimately these stories were really very scary for kids to begin with. So, and then doing it in 3D, of course, this whole new element of, it's a modern version of it, but it sort of makes sense. I play Muriel, and Muriel sort of runs this whole clone of very interesting witches. And I mean interesting in the best sense of the word, with, in variations that we've never seen them before. We're all very familiar with the classic witch with, the long nose and the hair sticking out of her chin and the broomstick, but they've really outdone themselves in terms of how all the witches are portrayed, how, the kind of prosthetic makeup, the things that they've done, and it's just a spectacular feast for the eye to look at. And I kind of run this whole bunch of witches, and I'm after Gemma's character's heart. Muriel is not that pretty on the eye to look at, and it was, a 3-hour process every single day of going all the way with the prosthetic makeup and the contact lenses and all of that, of creating this monster, this witch monster that I turned into. I'd never done that before, so it was a really interesting challenge and a new way of having to look at acting and coming up with playing a character when you can't rely on the general acting muscles that you've learned to rely on and stuff. I mean, the movie makes or breaks with the performance of these two people, and Jeremy and Gemma are so perfectly cast for this. They're so, they have a really great rapport. It's a great, sibling story of, sticking together and having each other's back and how far you're willing to go to protect your family member and all of that kind of stuff. So that part of it is really beautiful and great, set in this very dark, twisted kind of setting. I teased him all the way about it. It's like, what happened to you in Norway? What have they done to you? And I met his parents, and they were perfectly normal, but he's got a very twisted mind. But he's clever. Really, I mean, I have to give him kudos for this amazing job that he did. And he's young, and, it was a very big undertaking and really gave it a new, fresh twist. And I'm very excited for him. Really, really very excited. He's very, very talented. Challenging to, I mean, on a good day, doing fight sequences is a challenging thing because, we're human and we make errors and mistakes and actors, we all get carried away in the moment or whatever. But now add to that prosthetic makeup, contact lenses through which I couldn't see, a costume that was very, restrictive and hard to move in. So those were really the big challenges for me in the film, is staying upright, not falling over, and keeping, my own in these, trying to keep my own during these fight sequences with, people like Jeremy who are as good as a stuntman. From what I remember seeing, and it wasn't much through those contact lenses, but everything looked really good. No, I mean, the sets are incredible. The costumes are fantastic. Really, we had a great costume designer, Marlena, and she did an amazing job of, because it is a classic tale, and everybody is familiar with that classic tale, but I like all the, the spins, the things that they did to keep it classic yet modern, and, all of the things that they came up with to make it its own thing. You just go in there and you leave your life alone for whatever, however long, hour-and-a-half movie it is, and you just enjoy, because that's what it is. It's a real, you know, it's entertainment at its best.